Now, there's been a lot of talk going around since obviously what happened to Conor McGregor and what he got found guilty of. I have to be very dodgy with my words for YouTube, but there's been a lot of memes. There's been a lot of people just calling the guy a piece of crap, but arguably one of the biggest things to come was Jake Paul's response to Conor McGregor. We're going to be taking a look at what Jake Paul had to say, a bunch of replies to it, and what people had to say about the Conor McGregor situation in regards to what Jake Paul was saying, because this, again, was probably the biggest story to come from it besides, like, the actual story in itself. We're going to take a look at that in just a second. Before we do, though, I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. So we can't actually take a look at Jake Paul's profile, but of course, I found a tweet that said exactly the same thing that Jake Paul did. If you guys are really worried about me making this up, you can find screenshots of it absolutely everywhere. The reason why I'm including this one is because Conor McGregor had a response to it, and it's something that is not YouTube appropriate. So what Jake Paul had to say was, Dana hits his wife. Conor's convicted of, Jake hits old. Wow. Wow, man. I didn't see that part. I was like, somebody posted the exact same tweet as Jake Paul. Oh my God. Oh my God. So we're going to ignore that part, okay? But I'm the bad guy. What Jake Paul had to say was everything but this third line over here. I cannot believe that I didn't see that, guys. I'm recording this video at 2 a.m. before the fights actually come about, so oh my God. But anyways, that you guys get the point. I'm not gonna go looking for another screenshot of that. Let's continue on to some of the replies to actually Jake Paul into the actual deleted tweet. Now, no one thinks you're the bad guy. We just think you're a joke of a boxer. That's actually completely true, to be honest with you. Everybody's just sick and tired of Jake Paul specifically talking about how he wants to be considered a serious boxer, taken seriously. Nobody looks at Jake Paul and goes, I mean, I'm sure there's some people that do that, but there's people that look at Jake Paul and they don't go, wow, he's an actual dirtbag like people do about Conor McGregor. People just are sick and tired of what Jake Paul's doing because, quite frankly, it's insulting to a lot of our intelligence. Joseph Pino had this to say, you defrauded the American people with a fake fight and ruined the reputation of American icon in the process. Now, here's the problem is I'm open to the idea of those fights being rigged, but at the same time, what was going to happen with the Mike Tyson fight? I think it's crazy that people actually give Mike Tyson a chance to win this fight, or before, prior to it happening, people were talking about in my real life, people who don't know any sort of combat sports, right? They think that Mike Tyson legitimately had a chance. They think a 60-year-old man legitimately had a chance against somebody like Jake Paul. American Papa Bear had this to say, don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house. Now, here's the problem, right? Jake Paul has had quite his fair share of controversies and doing things that aren't exactly, the nicest thing to do throughout Jake Paul's career because he has lived a life on the internet. You abuse old people, which is even far worse. He does. And it's not far worse, but it's not far worse than what Dana did and what Conor did. Of course, it's not even close to what Conor did because obviously what Jake did was consensual, okay? Drew G had this to say, Dana and Conor never did any crypto scams. Now, here's the problem, okay? You see comments like this, wrong Paul brother, and that's what I'm thinking too, because obviously Logan Paul was the one with the giant crypto scam. It wouldn't shock me at all if Jake Paul was part of some crypto scam, but I haven't heard about Jake Paul being part of a crypto scam. Wouldn't shock me again if that was the case, but that might be the wrong Paul brother, because I have heard a lot of people saying the same thing about Jake Paul, but they could just be mixing up Logan Paul. Hugo Vale had this to say, those are likely false accusations. Meanwhile, you're always fighting old men for fame and money. Unfortunately, you can't be talking about the Dana White one because the Dana White one was as real as it could possibly get. He was on video, and there you go. Dana was on video, and the problem is, if you're talking about the accusations, it's about Conor McGregor. Now, that's something that we are not allowed to discuss over here. Again, and I know I'm going to receive the comments down below. I get them that I bend over to YouTube too much, but hey, I'm ensuring my place on the platform over here. Plus, I live in Canada, a place where we kind of believe guilty before innocent. So, accusations, good enough for me. Okay, let's continue on to Master, what he had to say. You exploit the hopes of countless young folks from behind screens, often leaving them facing devastating consequences alongside your brother. Many lose everything, finding themselves homeless or in worse situations. It's clear their well-being is not a consideration of you. Even though you're not the bad guy, you are a bad guy. That is pretty interesting. There are a lot of old Jake Paul videos and talking about just the boxing things in general, just scamming people out of their money and time, quite frankly. It drives me to think about if he is a bad guy, talking about influencing the youth at all. I like to think about all those videos that he did with, you know, adult entertainment stars, to put it nicely. That's always not good, and Jake Paul knows his audience is kids, okay? Moderation, 3250 of this to say, and people are trying to convince me that Jake loves being a hated man. Be real. No one likes to be hated. Everyone wishes to be loved. The same applies to Jake Paul. Stop embracing the villain role, Jake. Turn to the good guy's side. You know you want to do it. You just think it's too late. It's never too late. The internet loves a redemption story. That's actually kind of true, to be honest with you, but it's very true, the fact that no one likes to be hated. You'll see a ton of people saying, like, I feed off of this. And I do believe that people feed off of this, but people legitimately, like, yeah, I don't believe for a second that somebody embraces the bad guy role and legitimately loves people really, really hating them. They do want to be loved. So I actually like this tweet over here. But the problem is, I don't know if Jake is capable of having a redemption story, to be honest with you. Nothing you could do about it. And there's a reason, too, why he's going after UFC, fighter pay, Francis Ngannou. People are trying to, or Jake Paul's trying to get people to look at him like he is the savior to MMA, right? Rob Primo had this to say: here's the problem with you, Jake Paul. Your end goal is to take over the entire fight industry. I would argue, oh, there you go. The quote tweet. There we go. We love to see it. That's exactly what he had to say. The tweet's not there anymore, though. Anyways, I would argue that the UFC and Dana White had a lot to do with saving our world right now. You let people control you because you wouldn't let bro bring a drink into your last event because they weren't your sponsor. We don't need entertainers who want to be slaves for the machine. Now, there's a couple things said there that, again, we can't exactly talk about on YouTube, but it's so weird to me that out of everything that there was to talk about with Conor McGregor the other day, or yesterday at the time of recording this video, that Jake Paul's tweet was one of the biggest guys over here, and Jake Paul making things about himself. Guys, it's a really, really weird situation. I wanted to touch on this, but again, it's a very difficult topic because you have to be very dicey for YouTube, guys. Let me know what you think about everything down below. Watch this video right here. Thank you so much for being here, guys. I would love to have you over there. Take care.